significance, in terms of a former recipient, as R&B Plastics Machinery was, or R&B Machine Tool years ago, which I wasn't here. I think they were one of the original members in terms of founding. But just another minute about the fact that being part of the community, you know what I mean, as a business, and those individuals on the board here, and the people that we ask to volunteer for events and across our community, we always have to compete a little bit in terms of what events and what you can actually put your money and your time behind. So I think that the fact that we see lots of different representation here tonight, and lots of times when I go throughout events in Saline, it's nice to see that people take the time out of their personal, you're able to dedicate that much time to these events and to support each other in the community. So the Saline Chamber is very active in trying to make sure that we continue our membership and continue to add value and show that value to our membership. And each person here reminds me of you talk to one person and they talk to one person. So those are the good things that we like to do and spread it around. So really on behalf, I will turn it over now to our president-elect, Mark Stevenson. You'll do fine. I got your back, Mark. Don't worry.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Stevenson, as Fred said, and Larry has vanished. To echo what Fred had said, we own a couple of family businesses. My dad started over 40 years ago, and we've been in the Saline area. We've been chamber members for only 4 or 5 years, and it's helped our bottom line, but more importantly, we've gotten to meet and learn about other businesses in the community, and that's been more fun for me to learn and meet a bunch of people. Tim and Brandon there, A&H there, have become very good friends through SLI, the leadership course there and everything, so thank you for coming out tonight. I want to recognize the 2018 award recipients, so if you can stand if you're here from those companies. Bill Crispin Chevrolet, Mancino's Pizza and Grinders, Steadfast Chiropractic, Julie McFarland with McNaughton and Gunn. Now I'd like to turn over to Heather for the next phase.
I was a past president, 2018, current past president's my title on the board. Still have 2 more years on the board. I think I'm there until December of 2021. I blame that on Stephanie, but it's okay. In fact, I want to recognize a couple people before I get started, because I get the honor of what we're all here for, is talking, introducing the awardees. But if you are on the Saline Chamber Board of Directors, if you could please stand. There's several of you in the room. Please stand. We're going to be requesting a photo of me. You don't get to leave early, please. You're going to get your photo at the end. And then Stephanie, she probably isn't going to want to stand, but you all met her if you don't know her already when you walked in to register. She has been a lone soldier a lot, helping Larry out in the offices of late, so we appreciate all her efforts. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, well, without further ado, I'm going to get going on our 2019 award recipients. So a lot of you already know who they are. It's not one of those events where I get to drum roll, please. You know, it's already been published quite extensively. But the first one we will start with, which was a new award actually last year, and some of my favorite people won it. And that is the 2019 New Rising Star of the Year Award. And this year it goes to Guaranteed Rate. And I would like to, because she's got a little bit of a walk ahead of her, bring Kristen up to the podium if I could. And I would also like to bring the Schneiders. I don't know if you're both going to come, but come on up. They were the 2018 or first inaugural winners from Steadfast Chiropractic. And they are going to come up here with Larry. Did he disappear? Oh, no, he's behind. And we're going to do it with Larry. And I don't know if Larry, if if you'll ask Janet to come up, so I'm gonna get out of the way. You go ahead and read your part.
Can't hear you.
Not sure. So I'm gonna make it short and sweet. When Brad and I started dating, he told me that I really didn't know exactly what he did. He said that he helped people get money. So when actually going to his business and where he was at, it was tucked in like the back of a business complex. No one else in the building on the second floor. So I really at that point had no idea what he did. But when they decided to go and moved into Saline, it kind of came full circle. He and his boss, Rick Richter, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, they decided they had a vision to connect the community on a different level, and also to get their name out there. They wanted to kind of be involved in the community as much as possible. They wanted to be a part of people owning their own homes and like their opportunities to be part of their reality. So, and with all their strides and kind of, sorry, I got notified this at the last moment. So I'm just kind of looking. So I'm proud of them and all of their.
Still there.
So I just wanted to introduce him and all of Guaranteed Rate, the people who couldn't be here today, and kind of coming full circle, being a part of the community that they all grew up in, and really becoming a part of the community's, the community's dream of owning a home and helping with that process. So without further ado, I do want to invite Brad Rich up here with you.
This morning, so you did a great job. All right, so I have some notes up here. Thank you everyone for the award and the consideration to make this. Hopefully everyone enjoyed a glass of wine or two on us. So my name is Brad Kurtz. I actually grew up in Saline. I graduated in 2006. My mom actually graduated from Saline. My grandpa was a superintendent. Speaking of superintendents, I actually had Mr. Lotch as a 6th grade teacher about 20 years ago. So, and one of his first year teachers. So I graduated, like I said, I played hockey here, so that's one of the things that we try to come back full circle with is supporting the community. So we did a couple fundraisers with the hockey team. In addition, we've tried to promote other businesses in the area as well. We've done Meet Saline to try to post with the Saline Post some other businesses in Saline that are trying to grow and do a quick 10-minute interview with some of the businesses. Dran from the Saline Post has helped us post those and get our word out. In addition to that, as Chris mentioned, moving from Avis to Saline was a great move for us to connect in the community that we grew up in. So as last Friday, we sponsored the Saline football team. We got bought about 2,000 pom-poms, so they could take on the Pioneers in the game, and as they won pretty dramatically as well. In addition, going forward, we've also sponsored the fishing team, so we bought a boat. A lot of people don't know that Saline has a fishing team, but they will. Yeah, so it's a really nice boat. And there's a couple, I think there's 7 members on the team right now, but there are scholarship opportunities for those that are willing to try to get into fishing as a high school sport. In addition to that, let's see. Anything that we can do to help make the community grow, we're trying to do. We're trying to support as much as we can in the community. I'm on the board of this neighborhood actually, so anything I can do to try to reach out to make our community and our future kids' goals come true is what we're trying to do. So I appreciate the award, and I'm here to accept this on our entire branch. So thank you.
Did a little bit more hard work for you.
I'm gonna have
of Saline City Council. And the mayor sends his most sincere regrets for not being here this evening. There was a scheduling conflict and he just had to be elsewhere. So you get me this evening. And so I'm here on behalf of the mayor, the city of Saline, and all of the local and state elected officials that were not able to be here this evening. This is truly an honor for us, the success of the businesses in our community. This is success for the entire community, and we really do appreciate all of the effort that you put into the community. And I've got two things for you. You get a little plaque. Which I will give to you. And then the mayor has provided a proclamation. And I'm not going to go ahead and read this entire thing. So what I will just do is just give it to you.
On behalf of the Saline Chamber of Commerce, we have a permanent plaque he gets to keep, because this you only get for a year. This used to be like a candy dish in the office. Yeah. So you do with it what you want. It's steadfast, but candy and stuff in it. I mean, but this you get to keep forever after the year. So thank you and congratulations. Thank you, Brad and Kristen, for that, all your work. Now the next awardees, there was quite a bit of my money out of my checkbook went to this organization back in the day when I was raising my children. So an organization that's near and dear to our hearts in the Feldkamp family. Well, one of the Feldkamp families, right? Weber Road, I don't know. Am I related? Yeah, I'll just tell you yes. I'm related to everybody. By marriage, I don't know. It's not my thing. I married into it. So, and I get to invite my very good friend Ann Hurst-Kreitz up here to help with the giving of this award. The Small Business of the Year award is Great Lakes Educational Group. So,
I've only been given a few minutes, which is going to be hard, but you know me, I like to talk, especially when I get a mic. But I love you guys, and you know for all the reasons, but I'm just going to share a couple little things as to specifically why. Great Lakes Educational Group, often you will see G-L-E-G, so I'm going to take those words and kind of create some things. First of all, G, great owners and great directors. I met you a long time ago when Jonah was a kindergartner, right? Nora was his paraeducator. My second child has some special needs, and she said, Anna, you know, I own a tutoring. Needless to say, we got Jonah involved, and he was there for years. He still will always know Miss Nora. He will always know Miss Lori. And what you have done in the 20 years, I did not realize it's going to be 20 years next year. We started in 2000. What you've done has just been exceptional, but it's the personal touch that you have had and how much that matters. L, lasting friendships, lasting relationships. When you go to Great Lakes, it's not just to take your kid there. My other son he was there for ACT training. If he had some issues with different classes, they would get him in. But this is a family. You step in as a customer, you step in as a client, and then you become a family. I was sitting in Lori's office about 2 months ago. We were just kind of catching up on things, and we were talking about some different people, and I said, how do you know them, and how do you know them? And she said, oh, I met them because they came to the center. So all of a sudden, these customers, these students, have now become family. And the relationships that you have formed as a result of that, it's not just a place to go to get tutoring, it's a place where family, people truly care about you. E would obviously be what they do. Exceptional educational tutoring. Excellent experts in the teachers or in the people that are actually tutoring and that they have on staff. And what I service in so many ways. When you bring your child there, they do a real thorough background. They want to know your child. They want to understand what's best for your child and who that they can pair them with. It's a personal thing. Their customer service is excellent. Their tutoring is exceptional. What does this mean to the community? G, generous spirits. All of you have the biggest hearts. You have not only come into this town 20 years ago, you as an alum, nor having raised the family here, right? And you as an alum are jumping back into the community as a whole through tutoring. But the volunteerism, especially for the foundation, that all of you have done things and continue to do. You're one of our biggest sponsors and have been, I believe, probably since way back when. What you do, your volunteerism, the giving back to this community, you are truly a beacon in this community and how you give back. Lori is the center director. Many people think she lives here and her kids go here because she's here so much in the way that she volunteers for so many different activities within the school and the community. She doesn't. She drives a long way. But that is what you are. You have made an impact on Saline. You have made an impact on me and my family. You have made an impact on hundreds and maybe thousands now of students in the last 20 years. You deserve this more than anybody at the given moment, so congratulations, great things.
So now I'm going to try not to cry. She has me all choked up. My name is Brenda Seidright, and I'm one of the owners at Great Lakes Education Group. We'd like to begin by thanking Ann first for introducing GLAG tonight, and we could go by GLAG quite often. You have given us unwavering support since the beginning, and you've always believed in us and our mission from the start, and have always shared that, and we appreciate that more than you'll ever know. Not only recommending us to others, but honestly, when somebody trusts their children to you, that is the utmost honor, and we appreciate that. We're thankful for the Saline Chamber of Commerce and appreciate you putting on this event and many other events. You have been a gem this week. I think I emailed you 1,000 times through the week. Literally last night I emailed, and then this morning at like 5 a.m. you got another one. So thank you very, very much. We also appreciate the way you're always a meaningful resource for us. When something comes up, you can always count on the chamber. Give them a call, and they'll help you or steer you in the right direction. So we greatly appreciate that. We wouldn't be here to stand before you tonight to accept this award if it wasn't for our dedicated team. We have some of our teammates here tonight. The rest of them are honestly tutoring because we tutor until 9 p.m. Monday through Thursdays. So I'd like to introduce the people behind me. This is Nora, raise your hand, Tom. She is one of the other owners at Great Lakes. Many of you know her. She's the friendly face behind the desk and works hard to make everybody happy all the time, whether it be our staff or the families coming in or the students coming in. She does a beautiful job with that. Lori, raise your hand, is our director and has been with us since day one, which was, it will be 20 years. I'm aging myself. I was like 10 when I started. In February, it'll be 20 years. We began tutoring with 8 students, and it was my mom, Lori, and I, the first week in there. And we're in a little small space, 600 square feet in Hartman Insurance. And it was a great location until we outgrew it, and then we moved over to a larger space. It was about 1,800 square feet off of South Industrial. We outgrew that space, and we're in about 3,800 square feet now over in the Oaks. And we were able to build that out. That would not have been possible without Lori. Lori speaks to every family who calls and sets up programming. She's been passionate about growing the business, providing outstanding customer service, and is known for always putting the students' needs first. Glenna is one of our lead academic tutors and has been with us for the last 15 years. She inspires all of her students to become the best that they can be. She's a dedicated teacher who will go to great lengths to develop relationships with her students and engage them in their learning process. We owe a huge thank you to the rest of our team who are back tutoring tonight, and we're going to do a separate celebration for them. We were just talking about this Costco cake was really good. We'll get a big sheet cake and put it in the back for everybody to enjoy. Something that that sets Saline apart. I don't live in Saline anymore. I live in Canton, and then I actually am an instructional coach downriver, so I'm kind of in a lot of different communities. And something that sets Saline apart from any other community is amazing small businesses here. And I believe that what sets us apart is the fact that we actually want to help each other grow. Like, I really feel like we can network with each other, we help one another out, and we look to make Saline a better place for people to live, to raise a family, and we all want to contribute to the community. That's different, and that's what makes Saline unique. And I'd like to thank the rest of the small businesses, because there are many small businesses that definitely could earn this award, and we're lucky to be chosen this year. We stand before you today honored to be chosen to receive the 2019 Small Business Award amongst such prestigious nominees. It's our mission at Great Lakes to provide each student a superior learning opportunity. Fulfilling this mission, honestly, would not be possible without Saline families trusting us to support the education of their children. We're honestly eternally grateful to all of you. Thank you very much.
And I just have to say that, just a couple words, I promise. That these two ladies have run an amazing business. My son Zach and Nick were one of their first students back when they were in the Hartman building. And we went there for years and years, and you guys have been continued to be a part of our family. And Zach loves coming and visiting you, and you're an amazing business for our community. So congratulations. You guys so deserve it. So you want a free game? Yeah. You just sort of laugh at everything I talk.
Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the city of Saline and the mayor, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, like before, this is an award that they get to keep just for a year. We have a plaque here that they get to keep forever. Anybody want to come? Behind here. We were just talking about my son is 19 and in California in the Marines, and he went there since kindergarten, so makes you feel old. She says they're getting older, she's not. So we're gonna give you that. Thank you for everything. So Team Great Lakes, congratulations. Zach's getting his love. Wonderful. Okay, well, in 2019, there's a small business award that we just seen. Now we have a large business award like we do every year. And those of you, whether you know of this company or organization or not, you see the beautification they've given us up and down Michigan Ave, 12 Main Street, whatever you may call it. And the beautiful landscaping that adorns us, so we get to drive by every day or multiple times a day, depending on your routes around Saline. So the large business of the year is A&H Lawn Service, and I'd like to invite Christy Vanderpool up here with me to help, and Tim and Brandon to the podium.
Okay, so I have a few notes, but Brenda had to go and make it difficult to follow her. So Brenda and I graduated together. That's the cool thing about Saline. Like, she's in Canton now, but we graduated together, and now we're both standing here tonight. So anyway, it really is an honor to get to introduce Tim and Brandon and these other guys behind me. But I have actually called them bosses for 22 years now. 22 years. Tim's been my brother for a lot longer than that. But because he's my brother, I got to see this from the beginning. I got to see where they started. And I remember Tim with his mullet and his frosted tips. And, he would wear his Saline varsity jacket out on the cold days. And Brandon with his awesome little teal Mercury Capri, which was their first vehicle that they pulled the trailer with. It was a nice looking outfit. It was really good. They had they made the trailer too by hand, if I remember that right. I believe out of my grandma and grandpa's house, and their mower was too big for it. So they had one mower and they had one trailer and they had a Mercury Capri that was teal. And I think it was in 1983. And this was in 1991. And the mower didn't fit. I don't want to steal anything from what they're about to say, but it was funny. They had to disassemble it and reassemble it at every job. And so we're surprised we're still here, but no, but I also with that I saw them work long hours. Tim still lived at home, and they pretty much based everything out of our house. And I was very young at the time, of course, and I would see them. We both had bedrooms in the basement. Tim was right next door to mine, and they'd come home at lunch, and they would be doing their voicemails and figuring out their bills and who owes what. Yeah, it wasn't voicemails; it was the answering machine. And I think they were probably finding checks hidden behind seats in cars. Brandon was notorious, I hear, for getting a check from a customer, throwing it in the glove box, or he would tell Tim like 6 weeks into the summer, so I've been doing this lawn for the last 6 weeks because they're a neighbor of someone we were doing, and they asked if we would do it, and Tim didn't know who they were, they hadn't sent the bill, they were just doing it. So that's why there's two of them, because Brandon is the flower power and Tim is the bean counter. If you were going to say that, I'm sorry, because I kind of told you to, but that's how it is. They need each other to go together. And actually, I noticed that this morning when I was in my office. I heard Tim yell from his office, "Hey, Brandon, sounds like we picked up 3 of the whatchamacallit jobs." And then Brandon hollered back from his office, "Oh, did we? Okay, cool." That's 28 years of business that they know what the whatchamacallit jobs are. I don't know what the whatchamacallit jobs are, so I'm hoping that they tell me before it's time to build them out. But anyway, what they've done, and also they told me like 15 minutes ago that I could have done this as a roast, and I'm so disappointed that they didn't tell me that. Because this whole night would have been so much better, but it's great anyway. But no, I really am honored. I've known obviously both of them forever. They've been my bosses for 22 years. They're great guys. They run a great business. They're honest and they're trustworthy, and that's why we're still in business 28 years later. And I'm proud to call them my bosses and my friends and sometimes my family as well. So I'd like to introduce Tim and Brandon.
Okay, so I didn't bring my glasses, and I'm not really good at the speaking thing. I look out here and I see. What's that?
Still better than Mark.
Oh, I don't know. We'll try it later. But I want to thank the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce for this award, and we're honored. We're truly honored to be the large business 2019 large business award. Since we are the large business award and we've been in business for 28 years, that means we're going to be here a long time. I have a lot of people to thank. So, Brandon's also going to help. But it started out with our parents. We wouldn't be here today without our parents. We used our bedrooms as our offices, their driveways as our shops, and we used all their lawn tools. We had nothing. My grandma and grandpa, they loaned us $350. We didn't have $350 to get our first insurance policy, so they loaned us $350 to do that. My wife Renee, and my kids, they put up. Snow removal's tough. You get up 15 times a night, in and out of bed.
Every hour on the hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes in between.
And she still puts up with me. She had her chance to run though. We were just dating. She comes over to my condo, and I'm working. I got a spreadsheet out, and it took up the whole table because my spreadsheet was at least 6 pieces of line paper with with the Scotch tape and a ruler. She's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm working." And she's like, "Really?" And I thought she was going to turn and run and leave me forever, but she instead taught me how to use Excel. So. or a series called Love Where You Live. It was great. Actually, everybody here should see that series because that changed my perspective on life and business. So now I'll try to get out of that stuff. And I got this big guy here. So, you know, strong leaders aren't afraid to hire people that are smarter than them. And so I didn't hire him, I picked him. And so I'm really a good leader, I think, because there's nobody that knows lawn and landscaping plant material better than Brandon. So, I'm doing that.
Definitely a challenging industry that we work in, and from my perspective, we had nothing to begin with. I mean, we were both in college, 19 years old. I think Tim was maybe 18 at the time, and the idea came about, you know, we got our start. We both worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken here in town, and this is where our lunch break idea was that we were going to start a lawn service. So it was not we didn't think things through well. At a young age. First of all, we didn't have the equipment to run the business, but we were going to start a lawn business, and that's how it started, was with pulling it with the car. And one story I have, we were in Travis Point South, and we were stopped with our car in our handmade trailer that we nailed together with a hammer and nails in the mower, you know, that we were putting together each time we stopped, and drives by one of the larger lawn care companies in Ann Arbor, and with their nice new truck and their fancy mowers, pointing and laughing. And if anybody knows Tim was about the most laid back guy that you've ever met in your entire life. But I've seen some look on his face. He was extremely upset by this, to put it lightly. He was, his face, I think, actually turned a few shades of red. He said, someday we're going to show them how this is. And you know, it was a ton of work. There was a lot of work that we did, but you know, Tim and I didn't figure out, we weren't even the best of friends, but we just worked together. We didn't do things out of work really, but for somehow we put this partnership that's lasted almost 29 years together. And there is nobody in my life that has more integrity, more honesty, and as good a person as Tim is. And anybody that knows Tim can attest to this. There is absolutely nobody. He is a top-notch individual. So, so I feel blessed to have Tim. I mean, he honestly is the leader of A&H. It takes a team. I know for a fact if Tim were to disappear on some circumstances, the doors would be closed in no time. Because A, I probably couldn't run the thing, but B, I want no part of running this business without his leadership. He's just an amazing partner, and I think a lot of the success we have today is part of both of our hard work, but his leadership and directing the business to where it is today has been just outstanding. And from someone coming from a background that neither of us had any experience in the industry, and I was asked once, what would you do differently with your business, and you know, from where you started and where you are today? One of the very few things I would have done differently, but one of them was I would have at least gone and worked for somebody for 6 months, for gosh sakes. Instead, we learned everything. We had no experience. I told my parents I was going to start a lawn service, and they both fell off their chairs. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to hear those talks. Because my dad said, you ran the mower up the tree and killed the pine tree. That was a typical thing, you know, as you're growing up. And you know, it's really helped me as a parent of teenagers, and now mine are young adults. And you know, you can take somebody that has no interest in doing things poorly and doing poor quality with their work. But you know, it's amazing what these individuals turn into later in life. And you know, my stepson came to work for me this summer, and awesome athlete, but I don't think he ever got his hands dirty. And believe it or not, he has turned out to be, and first when we hired him, we had this conversation about, you know, this line of work isn't for everybody, and if you quit, there's no more feeling uncomfortable, things don't work out, you know. And he just didn't want that, so we had this conversation, but then he's hired on, and he got put with a pretty productive crew that they don't mess around. They're very experienced, it's very fast-paced, and I thought, oh boy. And I hadn't heard anything for about a month. I thought, well, they're not saying anything as if the boss's kid, you know. But you know what? He's turned out to be an awesome employee, far exceeded my expectations. So I think my message, one of my messages to people in the group is, man, have some faith in our younger people, because they will surprise you on what they can do in life. And I think my parents, I'm thinking, you know what, my parents thought the same exact thing about me. I came up with this harebrained idea about some guy they'd never met that we're gonna go into business, and I far exceeded their expectations, and I think that's important. But none of this could be possible without a team. I mean, it's A&H is a team, and as this being presented with this award, it's not something Tim or I did. Tim may be the leader of it, but our employees are, our one thing with us is we keep our clients for a very long time, but we've got employees over 22 years, whether family or not family. We've got a lot of long-term employees that really work hard for us. I think that's been really key, obviously key for us. I mean, we've got, Keegan's been with us for how many years? 18 years. Been our operations, worked his way up from a high school, or from a college student as just kind of the grunt labor to the operations manager. During that time, he went and got his degree, furthered his education, got his business degree. Just recently, within the last year, Tim and Jim and I had a close working relationship as a competitors with another lawn service, and then he came to us this year and obviously is providing a lot of valuable insight to our operation and really helping us move to the next step, I guess, wherever that may be. Along with our dedicated employees, awesome clients that we've had we've had some of our condominiums for 25 years. That's kind of unheard of in the whole lawn mowing condominiums. You've got lots of boards and management companies that you're dealing with, but several condominium complexes for 25, 20 years, lots, just long-term. We've established great relationships with them. That's been possible by several people in this room. We've got Bill Rittinger, who's been our accountant for 20 years, probably. Always leading us in the right direction. Myself and Bill hardly know each other, but Tim, Bill, and Christy know each other very well. They don't let me have the checkbook very often.
We did that once, it was bad.
Tim went on vacation and came back to, all the bills were paid, but payroll hadn't been accounted for. We've got Scott Bosnick and Dave Gunther, who've been exceptional for us in the banking industry, and we really, really appreciate everything you've done for lots and lots of years. Probably Dave and Scott from the beginning. And they just been awesome to work with. And then I don't know if Dennis is still here or not, Dennis Valenti. He was actually, we didn't figure this out for about 10 years after he'd been our attorney. He was my Finance 350 instructor at Eastern. Not only was he my attorney, he was my professor in college for my first 4 years of college. I also had an additional 4 years at Michigan State getting my turf management degree. No doctor at the end of my name, but 8 years of tuition.
Yeah, just so in closing, I guess, I think as business owners, we look at everything through the finance lens and the ROIs and all that stuff. But what we have noticed in business is that, building lasting relationships and giving back to the community, that gives you that instant ROI and satisfaction. And that's the most important thing, I think, in business. Thank you, everyone.
This part of the ceremony is known as the passing of the cup. I remember buying that. I wanted the biggest, most prominent cup, and you should proudly display it, because you're, and I'm sorry, I just had one thought. I'm not sure about this, but didn't you guys win the Small Business Award too?
No.
Okay.
You just jumped right up.
I can remember all along that watching you grow like you have, and your investment in the community is just remarkable. One footnote about the cup: those of you going home with the cups, proudly display them because you earned it. And one side note, let the office staff know it's not there for waste paper basketball. Witness in the past.
I was gonna say, the one cup had candy in it. Kim's crew pretended to drink coffee out of theirs. After all the stories we just heard, I don't know what this cup's gonna go through. But it'll hopefully make it back next year safely. And then they have, like so we've learned this evening, they have the permanent plaque that they can put up forever. And do what they want with it.
Thank you. And on behalf of the city of Saline, we thank you. And not everyone knows that A&H stepped up, and when Michigan Avenue was remodeled 3 years ago, we put in islands and planters in our downtown, and we struggled with plantings for them. And A&H stepped in and said, hey, we know what to do. We know what's going to grow. We know how to maintain it. And they stepped in and they do it free of charge to the city of Saline. They donate their time, their services, and their products each season. We're very grateful for that. Thank you.
Quick note on the plantings, you know, I don't remember even whose idea the plantings was, probably Tim and his whole, love where you live perspective, but you know, when we saw those plantings with Winter, I was like, wow, there's a good potential there for some really nice plantings. And then they put in what we affectionately refer to as gas station plants. You know those plants, the ones you just stick in the ground and forget, and they grow and they survive. Understandably, need low maintenance, but we just saw a huge potential for that area and really, you know, bringing some enjoyment as people drive by and notice it, and we're just really privileged to do that for the community.
Wonderful, wonderful. I could resonate with a lot of that story. I too, and so did Todd Campbell over here, we went to the Love Where You Live. I have the t-shirt. We go to Keystone too. Love Pastor Ken, so yeah, there's a lot of great things came out of that. You guys have done very inspirational, so thank you for sharing. Comical, inspirational, the whole thing. Thank you, Christy, for getting us started. I can see you could roast these guys. That'll be another event. We're always looking to raise money for the chamber. A roasting.
I think we should do it.
Professional roasting. Okay. I know there's that TV show my husband likes to find. I'm not too fond of that one, but they roast the famous people and it gets a little much, but this could be good. Okay, so last but definitely not least is an award, somewhat new, a few years old, I think. It's near and dear to our hearts at the chamber. I even have a little help with this one. And it's the, see Tim, it's not just you. It's the Bill Mangold Lifetime Achievement Award. And we'd like to present this this year to Fred Schmerberg, and we're going to invite his son Luke up here with me. And Luke is also part of the board, which is kind of cool, to come up here with us. And we want to just be able to recognize, you don't have to come up, but if the Mangold family that is always here every year for us in this award, if you could stand, or in the back table there. For the Saline Reporter, he did a lot of things, but he worked for the chamber tirelessly and honorably for many, many years. He was comic relief for all of us, and a very good artist, and I could go on and on, but we miss him dearly, and if Luke could come up and help with the introduction, this would be great. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming here tonight, and thank you to the chamber for giving me the opportunity to speak, and also for honoring Fred Schmerberg, who's my dad. When I was asked to introduce him to receive the Bill Mangold Lifetime Achievement Award for his long-time excellent business practices and reputation for service to the Saline community, there are the things that everybody knows, and those are the 4 decades of work here in Saline, right on Michigan Avenue. There's the many years volunteering on the City of Saline Planning Commission, including many years as the chairperson, serving on the boards of both the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce and the Saline Area Social Services. And he actually helped to incorporate both of those organizations. And there's also a lifetime of conscientiousness and honesty, stretching back to when he was voted most thoughtful by the Saline High School class of 1970. And so I don't want to minimize the things that everybody knows, but I figured if I'm asked to speak, I should tell you some things that not everybody knows. So I had no idea what to do, what to include, and so when you don't know what to do, you call Larry. And so I called Larry, and he said I should share some funny or embarrassing anecdotes and use this time as an opportunity to get back at my dad. All those times that I was grounded for being a bad kid in grade school. So here it goes. So I remember when my dad was summoned before the Saline City Council, and this was back at Old City Hall when we used to meet in the basement. And it was to receive a special recognition for restoring the historic character of the house on Michigan Avenue where our office is today. And I remember my dad always went out after work on Monday nights and he was never home for dinner. And that's because he was always at the Kiwanis meeting. And I remember that a police car would come by our house, it seemed like every other week. And that's because they were dropping off the Planning Commission packet for him to review before the Wednesday night meeting. So thanks for the tip, Larry, but it is actually pretty hard to come up with any sort of embarrassing anecdote about Fred Schmerber. And also, I hate to say it, I don't know what Steve was like, but I was never grounded for being a bad kid in grade school, or middle school, or high school. And to the extent that I was a good kid then, or that I'm a decent man now, it's because I have the incredible good fortune to have my dad as an example to look up to. And really what I do when I don't know what to do is not call Larry, but I ask my dad. I know that he will have the right advice for the situation, no matter what it is. And that's what we aspire to in our profession, is to give the right advice. I just couldn't ask him to say what I would say tonight, because I know he doesn't think of himself as special or outstanding. And of course, that's part of why he is. The city of Saline is richer for Fred Schmerber living and working here. I'm richer for having him as a father, as a boss, as a partner. So, my great pleasure to invite him up to receive the Bill Manuel Lifetime Achievement Award.
Larry told me that I should do this in about 30 seconds. That was on my schedule.
Okay.
So it's going to take a little longer than that, but maybe not too much more, because I learned a long time ago that if you can say something with one sentence, do that rather than taking a paragraph. But this is an award for a lifetime of achievement, and you can't have a lifetime of achievement without having a lifetime of support. And thanks are definitely in order. My first thank you goes to Nancy, my wife. We were married in 1977. I was a law student at the time, and we moved to Saline when I became a lawyer. Nancy was not my first legal assistant, but she was the best one. She came to work at my office shortly after we opened the office. We were a two-person operation for years, up until August of 1983. In August of 1983, August 27th of 1983, Luke was born, and she worked at the office 8 months pregnant until she finally had to quit to have Luke, our first child. She has always supported me personally and professionally. I don't make many decisions without consulting her and without her consent and advice. I'd like to also thank the string of dedicated and competent employees that I've had the good They tend to work for me for long periods of time. 10 years is not out of the ordinary. Usually the ones I can think of quit after long service to either retire or to go work for a judge. I had that happen to me a couple of times. And their dedication and professionalism is what has helped keep our office and made it what it is today. With me tonight are the latest versions of our office support staff. Deb Bush, she's been with us for 3.5 years. She came after working at the UAW Legal Services for a good long time here in Saline. And Tammy Kamen, she's been with me for over 7 years. She's definitely a dedicated person, so much so that she comes here on her birthday to be able to celebrate this event. Then there's Luke. This is a little hard. Most parents have a dream that someday their kids will look at what they do and think, boy, that's a profession I really like. That's something that I'm attracted to, and that's something I would like to aspire to and make that my career. You can have that dream, but you better not tell your kids that, because if you do, you fear or you risk the chance that they're going to rebel against you, and out of spite, just do anything other than what their parents did as a profession. But you can want it as a parent, and for me, that dream came true. I have a daughter, Claire. She's not a lawyer. She's very smart, though. She's a PhD in pharmacology. She's the scientist in our family. And she lives in North Carolina. Just out of a pure coincidence, she's coming to visit with us for a family vacation tonight. I have a granddaughter, one granddaughter. She is coming with her tonight, and her name is Indigo, and Claire and Indigo will be arriving at the airport here soon. This will be Indigo's first trip in an airplane, first trip to Michigan, first time in Michigan. She's 9 months old, and we can't wait to see her. It's been 3 or 4 months, but that's too long. I am very proud of my children, and they are both products of this community. They were born into and went to school here, graduated from Saline High School. A good part of this community has rubbed off on to both of them. The Chamber of Commerce deserves a thank you. They've always been good for me. They were incorporated in 1980. I happened to check that out when Stephanie and I were talking on the phone here in anticipation of our meeting here. I have a brother, Kurt, who's here with me tonight too. When I was in law school and started my practice here in town, Kurt had already had established presence here in town as a businessman. And so when I opened my office, Kurt talked me into volunteering for the board of directors of the chamber. At the time, they would take just about anybody, especially if you were a college graduate, and if you were around town and you could walk to their meetings, especially which were held in the basement of, I think it was still the Manufacturers Bank at the time. It's now Comerica Bank, and they've been a steady flow of employees from that bank through the chamber board, and that was where we met. It's been a long time, 40 years, and you can certainly see that the chamber has come a long, long way from what it was in 1980. The Saline community has been very good to me. I love my job on most days. There are some days when it's less so than others, but after 40 years of doing this, it is time for me to cut back. And I've already started that, and Larry, I haven't quit, I've just cut back. I'm down to 3 days a week, which is, I have a profession where I can just kind of slowly, one step at a time, move away from the office and into retirement. And that's kind of the plan. I just have to have more willpower than you. But I can still keep my toes in the water at work, still service the people that I learned to love and enjoy providing services for, and I plan to do that for a good long time yet, just not 5 days a week or 60 hours a week. Being a lawyer in Saline has given me an opportunity to participate in many important events that have happened in this town, many times behind the scenes, almost all of which have been real joys. I'm not going into those tonight. Some confidentiality issues would probably make that unadvisable. And as a member of the Planning Commission for the city, I've had a voice, been lucky to have a voice in shaping some of the most important development issues that the city has seen since around 1990. I can't really remember exactly when I got started. It was either Mark Hopper or Don Sheldon who made the first appointment to that Planning Commission for me. It's really been a pleasure. It was a pleasure to work there. When I moved out of town, I had to resign. Otherwise, I might still be doing it if they'd have me, because it was a joy. But it has been a real blessing to be able to do that. And just in conclusion, few people are so blessed during their lifetimes as I have been. And I'm thankful for the opportunities that this community, the Chamber, and all of you have given to me. So thank you.
A lawyer who's not mom? Well, anyway, we're proud to present this plaque. We're very proud of you. You're one of Saline's own. You're a good guy.
Thank you very much for all of your service.
Well, thank you, Fred. I've never met you. I've always known of you, so honored. Nice to meet you. So thank you, everybody, for coming out, first and foremost. Look how it gets dark so early. I don't even know what time it is, but thank you. It is important to us and everybody. I can speak to the board and the chamber that come out and support our events, and so this is a great turnout. Food was great. Where do we have anybody from Stonebridge hanging around?
Still have cake.
Yeah, we still have cake. Costco always donates lovingly. So I just want to thank everybody for their time, honor the honorees. Thank you, everybody. Big round of applause for all the honorees. And so again, thank you. And Larry has a couple announcements, I believe, or requests maybe. Just bookkeeping. He'll be. I don't want that's what I offered for you to come up. See, this is what goes on. And I was one of the ones that agreed to bring him back. I'm just saying. Anyway, I will let Larry do whatever it is he thinks he needs to do.
This is just a final detail. I know a lot of you will want to stay afterwards. That's the most fun part. Congratulate the winners. The only thing I would ask is logistically, we're going to want to get pictures of all four. So where's Tran? Tran's going to be doing that. But I do invite you to stay and partake and socialize and have fun tonight, because that's what we're all about. One thing about the chamber is I do this anyway. I'm looking for a couple of young volunteers to do a couple of easy jobs at the chamber. And if you know anybody out there, please give me a call. It's just stuff I haven't gotten time doing, but it amounts to envelope stuffing and painting. And in exchange for a young kid, he gets a recommendation from the chamber for work. And I know that's important when you're applying for jobs. So if you know anybody out there, I'm not going to point out, but if you know anybody, have them give me a call. That is that. All the awardees need to arrange for their pictures, so we can duly honor them. Nice job. Thank you.